Welcome to MILF.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Jennifer.
And we are two moms into literary freedom. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey,
Welcome
Courtney.
back to our show.
Oops.
It's been a while. So we're obviously, it's not like we had this like intro thing nailed down to begin with, but
No. Clearly not. It's what we've been doing this for what, 2 years?
yeah, no, 3, I think. I think
3. Holy shit.
this February was 3.
April, wasn't it?
I don't know, maybe.
We
Sure.
don't know. Yeah. Don't ask us
We
anything.
can't answer those kinds of questions. We can tell you what's going on in Iran a little bit, but not even really that.
Very little bit.
Yeah. We can tell you that we're imperialists. We are an empire because that's where we left off in our last episode is me covering this book, How to Hide an Empire by Daniel Immerwahr. And we kind of had to pause because it's a lot. It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna kind of pick up where we left off there, but we're gonna, talk about other things. Lots of things have been happening. We're gonna try and cover it all. First, we usually start with like our appearances. You're wearing a fuck ice shirt. I love it. Let's abolish ice.
I think I've already worn this one on the show, maybe.
Well, I've worn this one on the show too. More trees, less assholes. Thanks.
I like it.
My twin sister. She's like, that is perfect for my sister. I'm like, well, I don't know what that says about me, but I'm fine with it.
I think that says you're a good person.
Thank you. Okay, on to the hair. I always I have had a love-hate relationship with my hair because I feel like when I was younger, so I had kids young, and so did you. We both had our kids young, right? And well, 25 to me is young, right? And I had long, long curly hair, and there was a picture of me with one of my babies as like a 25-year-old with my long curly hair. And it popped up, recently, and I was like, why didn't anyone tell me I looked like a fucking Duggar?
Oh no.
So I don't know, I like my hair, but at the same I have to style it in a way that I feel like isn't Duggar,
I feel like your curls look really good today.
Well, I added a curl cream.
Okay. It's working.
It's just I have so much hair. I have to thin it out. So I have a hairstylist who is one of my good friends and I love her and she's the best. Her name's Elena. If she's listening, which I don't, sometimes she might be, I don't know. But she is gonna thin it out. So it'll be less big. But the bigger the hair, the closer you are to God,
I like it. I think it looks good. I feel like with the Duggars, I don't know, their curls are different.
Uh-huh.
They're more like
in the picture of me that I'm referring to when I was holding the baby in 25, it just it was giving very Duggar. I happened to be wearing a jean skirt or something.
Oh gosh.
Because I was a teacher at a young age too, so I had to dress very modestly. You can't be you can't be a 23-year-old teacher going into a high school looking hot. You just can't.
No. That's not a good idea. Speaking of teachers, I know that this wasn't your intention, but you brought up a teacher.
I did.
You did.
Oh yeah, myself.
Yourself. Did you see the MAGA teacher? She went kind of viral a while back because she wore a MAGA hat at her wedding.
Ew.
Yeah,
she was getting
gross.
married and she wore a MAGA hat?
Yes, I think at her reception or something. I don't know, but I don't know. It's weird to bring politics into your wedding.
You think?
That's just weird.
That's gross.
But on brand, she was arrested for essaying children.
Are you fucking kidding me? What state?
Texas, maybe?
You can't keep up with the shit these days
Or
because
Alabama.
if we had an assistant, this is where they would look that up and give us that information.
Get that info for me.
We're accepting applications. The pay is $0, but you get paid in having fun. No, but anyway, seriously, there's way too much information out there to keep track of when this shit comes up. So while Jennifer is looking that up, did you see Trump's spiritual advisor who went to jail for 6 months for SAing young girls? He just got out
after 6 months.
6 months.
And it was several girls, right?
I'm not sure. I mean, one is enough, but yeah, like, and I think it was like an actual like conviction, like he art a girl, you know. A lot of, but there's so much in terms of like sexual predators and not
Hmm.
being held accountable for their actions. So, I thought when you said speaking of teachers, I thought you were going to say speaking of Duggars because we have to talk about the Duggar.
Those two, yeah, that
So
is true.
did you find what you were looking for?
Yes, so she was arrested. They have like 19 counts against her. Apparently, her boyfriend, so she's not even married anymore, or I don't know, was directing her on what to do to this child. I believe the child was under 5.
Oh no.
So Zachary, that's the boyfriend, 37, was arraigned on an enhanced charge of sexual performance by a child, a first-degree felony. And then what does it say about the girl? His girlfriend, 30-year-old Madison Page Jones, are named by Midlothian Police Department as suspects in an ongoing investigation regarding the sexual assault of a child. Court documents obtained by News Channel 10 show that on December 17th, Midlothian police went to the home of a woman who identified herself as a friend of Jones. She told officers that Jones and Don Dindlinger, good Lord, were in a relationship and that she had concerns with Don Linger's behavior towards a 5-year-old child in Jones' home. Officers then spoke with Jones, who then confessed to sexually assaulting the 5-year-old on direction from her boyfriend.
Oh no.
Five 5-year-old, because her man asked her to.
And this was recently and in the state of
Hmm.
Texas.
Texas, yeah, Amarillo.
Oh my God. And she had a Trump hat, a MAGA hat at her wedding, and she was a teacher.
Yes, so you can see her wearing her hat here.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
She went viral for that a couple of years ago.
Ugh.
And I don't know, like,
I hope they both rot in jail forever.
right.
That's just, I can't even like think about
I
that.
can never understand how desperate you would want a man to stay in your life
Mm-mm.
that the moment a man would say something like that to me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna say straight to jail. I'm straight Lorena Bobbitt?
Mm-hmm.
Bobbiting him?
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
you
what
can't
the
have
hell?
that thing out there in
No,
society. It needs to be cut
no.
off so it can't do any damage. That's
That
terrible.
would, I don't need a man that bad.
Mm-mm.
No.
I wonder, it does make you wonder like what happened to her, that she would be in a relationship like that. But, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like you're going to jail. There's too many news stories out there about sexual assault without they're not being held
Victims,
accountable.
yeah.
Accountability. Yeah. I mean,
This one is very similar to the Duggars, though, right? Because in this case, the Duggars, that one of the sons, right?
yeah, that's what I was
One
gonna
has
say.
already been accused and convicted, but the other son
Hmm.
has now been
Yeah.
charged, and so has his wife.
So the Duggars, just a real quick backstory. Again, this is not an episode about the Duggars. I am going to finish our conversation from last week about imperialism and the role of America in not the Middle East. It's not what we call it anymore. North Africa, Southwest Asia. And so instead of saying Middle East, you say Southwest Asia, North Africa, or SWANA, because it's an
When
acronym.
I've never heard this before.
So this came up in my feed from an expert in this area of the world, which is the oldest area of the world in terms of anthropogenic evolution, so humans, right? And I'll have to put it in our show notes because I have it somewhere in my notes, but she's an expert in, these like political affairs, people affairs, whatever. And she went on this talk show a while ago. I would say like, 10 years ago. It wasn't like recent. And someone said Middle East, and she said, "We don't say Middle East, we say SWANA." And she looked at her, she was like, "What?" And she said, "Well, think about it. Like, why is it the Middle East? It's in the middle to who? Middle East to who? Middle East to Great Britain, right? To the imperial powers, right? So it it got the name Middle East because of the imperial countries like Great Britain and European countries that were trying to exploit it for all of its riches, right? So really, that's the word we use when we're describing it in an imperial sense. But if we were to take back, give back that power to that region of the world where life, evolved, right? You would call it its true name, which is North Africa or Southwest Asia, depending on what you're, which part of the world, which country or region you're talking about. Not a
Okay.
popular concept. Not, I remember learning about it like years ago and then immediately forgetting.
So people from those regions, right? Because
Mhm.
now different countries, right? Do they use that term?
People in Palestine aren't going to say, "Oh, I live in the Middle East." They're going to say, "I live in Palestine," right? Or I live,
Right.
and if you were to say, "Oh, where's Palestine?" They would say it's in North Africa. They wouldn't say it's in the Middle East. Like that's like a Western here,
Yeah.
where I go again. That's an American, European way to describe it, I
I
guess.
guess that's what I was saying. So,
Yeah.
like, if you ask someone from, like, let's say Palestine, they would say they're from North
I
Africa.
don't think they would say SWANA. Yeah, but they would say North Africa. Like if you were to say
Okay.
where is Palestine, they wouldn't say the Middle East. Maybe some would because depending on the news or the media that they're consuming. But I don't know. That's my guess anyway. But I think SWANA came from like a group of people that are trying to give power back to that area. I don't remember where I was going with that. I think I was just saying we're going to resume our conversation about SWANA, right? And
Yeah.
how and the influence that the United States has on the SWANA region. But before that, we're going to talk about the Duggars. We're going to talk about Christy Noam and her husband. We're going to talk about what's happening right now as we record, which we will not have an answer on until tomorrow, the Supreme Court's hearing on birthright citizenship. We're going to talk about those things and more if we can remember. But
Yeah.
so we got to be quick. So Duggars, real quick history. There's a documentary out called Shiny Happy People, which we've talked about. I think we covered in one of our
We
episodes.
did.
Yeah, and it's basically about like the purity culture of Christianity. Um I have a lot of Christian friends and I'm always like afraid of accidentally offending because sometimes it sounds like we kind of knock on Christians, but I think there are hypocritical Christians and I think there are true Christians. And we only really hear from the hypocritical Christians in this point. And I think the Duggars are a part of a larger hypocritical group of Christians in purity culture that has somehow made sexual assault just a pillar of their community. And I don't understand it other than men trying to, I don't know, exert their dominance and their patriarchy on the women in their lives so that they can just be the perverts that they really want to be and like they can dominate women because like there is a part of that culture where the patriarchal Christian society where like the man is in charge and whatever he says goes. And if, his penis tells him to act in a sexual way, who are you to tell him to stop?
Right.
You can
Also, I've
tell.
heard the whole term, like, you can't be raped by your husband
Mm-hmm.
by pastors.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
Yep.
kind of saying, like, they own you and you can't say no.
Mm-hmm. So, so
That's crazy.
The Duggars grew up in this or raised their 19 kids and are continuing to raise their 19 kids in this environment. Josh Duggar, the oldest, is in jail right now for possessing massive amounts of highly disturbing child pornography. And he's supposed
Right.
to be in jail until like 2033 or something. And he was convicted. He still maintains his innocence, right? But it came out later that he sexually assaulted his sisters. So
Right.
he has a lot of sisters, but four of them happened to be slightly younger than him. And while they were sleeping and sometimes awake, he molested them.
Right.
Um, and I think it's definitely tied to this culture, this patriarchal Christian culture. Um, that is extremist. And in our last episode, we talked about the extremism of Islam as a religion, yet we never talk about the extremism of Christianity as a religion.
Right.
And so I guess I'm just saying, like, I know there are good Christians out there, and I hear you and I see you, and I hope that this isn't coming off in a bad way. But anyway, Joseph Duggar, who is like the third brother, I guess, from the top, uh, admitted to molesting a 9-year-old girl on a vacation in Florida in 2020 to her father. and he is basically, in jail awaiting trial by jury because he just admitted to he contested not guilty, or I don't know if contested is the right word, but he put in a plea of not guilty and he wants to be heard or tried in front of a jury, even though he admitted to
Right.
putting his hand down. We are adding a trigger warning to the beginning of this episode, so
Yeah.
because already it's too late. But
Yeah.
putting his hand down her pants under a blanket on a couch in, you know, in front of a bunch of people for all we know, like sort of like secretly kind of doing it
Right.
and like, touching her. And I think there were two occasions where this happened. And, the girl's now 14 and she told this to her father, who I guess confronted him, and now here we are. So, but not much has been done in terms of accountability regarding those AI images that have been generated of young girls and teenage girls, um, where their pornographic images were generated based on images of them in their clothing, right?
Right.
Except in France, where Elon Musk had some business going on, right? So there are my this is all to say, there are other parts of the world that are holding these predators accountable. United States of America is not doing, in my opinion, enough because,
Correct.
like we've always said on this podcast, predators protect predators.
Yep. And they're definitely not, I wouldn't even say enough. They're not doing jack shit. Nothing is happening.
Well, I mean, yeah, at least Josh Duggar is in jail,
Yeah.
but he's not the president. Like, he's a celebrity. Celebrities don't, I mean, they can pay for like really good lawyers, right? But if you've got child pornography on your computer, you're going to go to jail. The problem is when Elon Musk and Trump and all these people have pornography on their computer, but they have the power to erase it or to make it
Make
not
it go
matter.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's an ongoing issue. Like I think it's definitely the whole Epstein thing has really shown what what an issue it is. I think we've always known, but like it's really out there now. But
mhm,
it's still kind of very devastating to see that nothing gets done about it.
right. Yeah, it is. And it's like it's devastating on so many levels. One, as a mother, as a woman, two, as a mother of girls, and three, just as a person in general. It's like,
Right.
what are we doing to our girls? Like we're continuing, and even with the Save Act, we're requiring women to present proof of marriage before they vote, which I don't think went anywhere, but still the fact that it was going somewhere is
Right.
telling, right?
Yeah.
But there are so many examples. It's horrible.
And it's just really crazy to me that we keep the women especially who support this, who were so gung-ho, with the saving children and they're so worried about books and what books are going to teach our children and rated R and PG-13 and wanting to label everything. But then they will allow their husbands, the men in their lives, just to do whatever. And then they suddenly find a way to be okay with all of that
Mhm,
and justify it. And it's so crazy to me
mhm,
that I have a hard time understanding that.
mhm. Yeah, and I mean, it's not, this isn't to say that like it only happens in the United States, like it's just being that we're so like in everyone's face and like invading all these countries and all this stuff. It's just really, I don't know. Um, we're under a spotlight here, and we're sort of like telling the rest of the world that like this is how you're supposed to treat women. At the same time, using the hypocritical excuse of invading Iran to liberate women by bombing schools, by bombing
Right.
elementary schools full of girls. It just doesn't make sense and it's frustrating. Um, but all we can really do right now is bitch about it and
Yeah,
vote.
pretty much.
Bitch and vote. Which did you go to the protest on Saturday or did you have to work?
No, it was CJ's birthday,
That's right.
so
Hmm.
yeah, I wanted to because I didn't want to miss out on another one.
Hmm.
Uh, but yes, I didn't go.
I like forgot that it was happening, and then the girls wanted to go to the lighthouse. So I climbed a lighthouse instead. It was really scary. I don't think I'm gonna do it again.
Really?
Yeah, my legs like turned into jello.
And you're
That
in shape, so that means
no, no,
I'm
no.
out.
It's not a physical thing. It's like a mental thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like when you get up there and like you know what your body knows what it's doing, it starts to shut down. It's like if you're afraid of heights, which I apparently am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was like on the way up, I
That's a
was
good
fine.
time to find out, right?
Yeah. Because I had climbed the lighthouse like 10 years earlier. I was like, maybe I'm over it now. So I did it again. But I was like holding on for dear life on the way down. My legs were cramping. It was like unreal. And my daughter was like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're in shape. I'm like, it's not physical, it's mental. Like, my body is shutting down right now.
Oh my gosh.
They had a good time though. So,
That's all
um,
that matters.
yeah. I'll go to the next protest. But, I'm hearing that it was the biggest in history.
Is it this one top the other one?
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, we didn't reach 3.5%. We still have a long way to go to reach 3.5%, which is also discouraging because it's like just open the news, whatever news it is, and just read like five things. It they will piss you off enough to do something,
Right.
right?
But also think about, I think we're there. I think just a lot of us don't have, like we didn't go to this one,
True, true, true,
no?
true. Yeah, yeah,
My family didn't go to any of them because they rather not stay home, but also like the fear that something bad is going to happen.
yeah.
So like my husband's like, obviously he's not going to stop me. He can't. But he's like, you can go, but I don't want the kids to go. And I respect that because what if something does
Yeah.
happen? I have to live with that, you know?
Yeah, like a car running into the median. Like it's fucking scary. Like
And you
I
have these
understand. Yeah.
grown ass men
Yeah.
starting fights with children right now.
Yeah, it's
So
like how are we supposed to increase our protest numbers while the danger level is increasing faster?
yeah.
It's like each day it gets a little bit more scary and dangerous and
Did you see the two helicopters that flew very low, like army or military helicopters that flew very low near the protest and kind of like hovered there?
oh
And then
yeah.
they did a drive-by by Kid Rock's house.
Huh. No, I didn't see that.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
So
Kid
it's
Rock?
yes, like even Kid Rock posted like the video and they're like right there, like in front of his house, and he's like, please, and had time to take a picture and everything. So like he knew they were gonna come by his house.
Uh-huh.
Weird.
That is
And
weird.
then they flew very low and kind of like circled around where the protesters were.
Mhm.
Clearly an intimidation
Yeah, an intimidation
tactic.
tactic.
So yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, it's and yeah, I don't know. It is scary. But that does remind me that I saw a video from the protests of like the tear gas canisters being thrown into the crowd, but people brought their leaf blowers and they blew it back, which I thought was awesome. So like people are still going and they're coming up with these new tactics, but it's like to get to 3.5% of that does seem like really a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. And also to be noted, you don't see that many people of color at these protests.
I saw a white woman being
You
interviewed,
saw it.
and I always watch things on mute because there's always someone sleeping by me. So, but I got the context, and it was like she
Yeah.
was like, "It's not their responsibility to be out here. It's our
Right.
responsibility. It always has been too. But
Yeah, because she
black
said it. She's
people have
like,
been
if
showing up.
no, and she said it, if they were to come, right? Like obviously there are people, black people, Hispanic people that show up to these events, but they're not in droves, right? And it's what she's saying, if they were to show up in droves, you guys would arrest them. You would
Yeah,
suddenly be arresting people. You would suddenly be targeting them specifically. They're not safe at these events, not
yeah.
because of us, but because of you guys.
Because the
And
United
that's
States is
why.
racist. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. What else? Oh, last thing before we kind of do a quick finish of the Iran situation. But
Yeah.
Christy Noam, I'm gonna
Oh,
let
yes.
I'm gonna let you handle this one.
Okay, so these are the same people who stand on, high moral ground. Not that what he's doing is necessarily immoral,
Mhm.
but to them it is.
Yeah,
I
to
think
them
that's
it
what
is.
that's the distinction that needs to be made.
Yeah.
We're not kink shaming her
No.
husband because do whatever. He's doing it with adults. We don't care.
Mhm.
What we're saying is pointing out the hypocrisy that these people will want to ban trans people's rights. They want to take away the rights of, drag queens and always attack this group. Meanwhile, they are a part of this group and partake in all these activities. So, to my point, Kristi Noem's husband, videos have been released, not videos, photos have been released,
Mhm.
and chats of him cross-dressing, wearing ginormous boobs. They're like balloons that he stuffs under his shirt.
Yeah, yeah. It's called
Um,
the bimbofication scene or something.
yes. So I guess like bimbos as in like big boobs, tight clothes. He doesn't wear makeup in these pictures, but it is like clearly he's dressed like a girl.
Mhm.
Um, and then he's paid a lot of money to these women in this adult scenario chat groups um to just talk really nasty, naughty things. And again, they're adults, consensual, whatever. We don't care that he's doing that specifically.
Mhm.
We care about the hypocrisy because I can bet big money. I don't have big money, but let's pretend I do. I would bet it that Christy Nome knew exactly what her husband was
I was
up to.
just gonna say, there's no way that she didn't know what was going on. And remember, she had an affair with someone in the movie theater. Um,
No, 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 no.
that wasn't her?
That's not her. That's the ditzy chick from Colorado. What's her name?
I don't know.
Bobert.
Oh.
That's Bobert.
Oh, but she did have an affair.
Yes, she has an affair
Not in
with
the movie theater though.
no, she's got like a long-term boyfriend. Her, what is it? Personal advisor or something?
Oh yeah, her special agent.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's been
Corey.
fired actually by Trump before or
Oh,
something.
uh-huh.
And so she hired him as like a special advisor and she was paying him good sums of money. And they fly around in this private jet that has, this like swanky bedroom that, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows that she's having this affair. And I'm sure her husband doesn't care because he wants to, have his own fun.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's, again, do whatever you want to do. You guys are adults, but don't sit here and be hypocrites and be like, oh, these people are immoral. Look at what they're doing. While you guys are also doing kinky, kinky shit.
right.
And just because you're hiding it doesn't make it less immoral.
Yeah,
Again, in quotations, because what adults do, I don't care.
right. Yeah, and the fact that what state was it that's basically erasing trans identities by requiring that they get a new driver license? Like,
Ohio?
I think it
Was
was
it?
Kansas.
Oh, maybe.
The Trump administration and this country has been trying to erase, trans identities, has been anti-LGBTQ. Like they have not been a friend in the slightest to
Right.
anyone who has not been, cis, straight, whatever. So for this to happen is so hypocritical
Right.
and it needs to be called out for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, it's not, we don't care if you're gay. We don't care if you're trans. We don't care if you like wearing big, heavy duty boobies. You
Mhm.
know, do whatever you want.
It reminds me of that scene from White Lotus, which is on HBO Max, which I don't think you have seen,
I
but
haven't. Talking about being an Asian girl.
yes, yes,
Okay, I know the scene because I've seen videos of it. I love him. He was in Charlie's Angels.
Sam Rockwell, yeah.
Yes, that's him. That's him.
So his fantasy, his like kinky sexual fantasy about like dressing up as an Asian woman. And it's giving like that vibe, which whatever, as long as no it's consensual and no one is getting hurt, like people have weird ass sexual fantasies and kinks that they want to fulfill.
Right. And we go back to they suppress it so hard because of their religion
Mm.
that I think I don't know.
It goes
And they're
back to that
still,
purity culture,
yes,
that pure of like, a man and a woman of the same race, right?
Right.
You can't even have different races, right? Let alone like someone who's gender fluid like be
Right.
in a relationship, right? It's because you know, and they use it sort of to maintain their power too. But they deep down they have these feelings because they're human, right? But the system as a whole, it's using like this purity culture and this idea that it's wrong to be anything but in a heterosexual relationship, cis heterosexual relationship.
Right.
They're using that idea to keep people oppressed, you know,
Yeah.
um, so that they can just continue being in power and they can continue you know, just having the most money. You know, that's why you see like these like religious like that's why the Venn diagram of religious leaders and politicians is just like getting bigger. This, you know, where it overlaps is getting bigger and
Yeah.
bigger, you know.
Yeah. Where it's just going to be a circle at this point.
Yeah.
Not, there's not going to be two of them. It's
We
just going to be,
are a Christian, white Christian nationalist nation.
yeah.
That's what we are. That's what we're becoming if we are haven't
Yeah.
already become that. Yeah, if y'all don't know what we're talking about, just Google Sam Rockwell. It's a monologue. It is so good. It is
And the
like,
other guy's face, and all he says, uh-huh,
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Sam Rockwell is the Christian nationalist in this example, and the other guy is just like the rest of us.
Right.
We're like, what?
Yeah.
You do you,
It,
bro.
yeah. I mean, it's just really frustrating because I think if these people were less oppressed in their sexuality and could just live however they truly want to live,
Hmm.
they wouldn't be such big assholes and
Yeah,
we'd all just be happier. Excluding the child predators. You guys
right.
can support yourselves.
Well,
Like we're
yeah,
not
and
saying consensual adults.
there's also an argument. It's like, well, they can't live their unfettered sexual, you know, dreams because it's looked down upon, it's bad, it's sinful. So they're going to do it behind closed doors
Right.
to victims that can't say no, you know? So it sort of it makes it worse.
Yeah.
If you were just open and, you know, had these conversations in all societies at all ages, like talk, you know, making sexual desire and just sex in general less taboo, then I personally think that there would be less, you know, instances of hiding it.
Right. Yeah.
This episode is not really turning into an episode about Iran. It's more
As much as we thought it was going to be.
well, let's shift because I do, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. Like have you seen the accounts of Hegseth lying about the number of American soldiers dying?
No. What
Uh,
I did see, which I don't know if you've seen, so they want to put boots on the ground, right? And they
mhm,
want to send our troops over there to basically die.
mhm.
And Israel said, y'all go ahead. We're not sending any of our people there,
Wow.
which
Yeah.
is crazy when they wanted this war.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm hoping, not that, no, I'm not hoping that our people go and die, but I'm hoping all these people that voted for him,
Mhm.
and I hope you guys are ready to sign up, send
Right.
your kids,
Hmm.
you know, since you backed this, because I'm not sending mine.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Not sending them. Nope, they can kiss my ass.
I saw.
If Trump can get out of it, and I'm sure his kid's not going,
Mm-mm.
my kid's not going. I didn't vote for this.
Hmm.
And
Also,
they raised the age of
they did.
enrollment.
They did.
Yes, to like 42.
Oh no.
So all
42.
these 35, 40-year-olds that love Trump, go sign up.
Yeah.
Go sign up.
My husband's over 42, thank God. But
And he doesn't love Trump either, so he's
that's
good.
good. Yeah. But no, I was talking to someone about the draft. The draft, the history of the draft is such an interesting thing. We should talk about that in a next episode. But like, um, yeah, it's such an interesting thing because, you know, I mean, Trump dodged it,
Hmm.
and here we are. Uh, I saw a report of a woman who in the military. being sent overseas around the same time her father was deported. And that to me, that kind of resonated with me. I was like, okay, so we're sending her and she's an enlisted, she was born here in the United States, so she's a citizen for now until the Supreme
Right.
Court overrules that or overturns that. And she's getting sent over, and her dad was deported.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And did you see that I think it's the Marines or something? They have a ceremony coming up. I guess the graduates or whatever, I don't know what it's called. They're going to have ICE agents there. So as families show up to, to this graduation
Mhm.
of their kids that are literally enrolled in the military, ICE agents are going to be checking their papers.
Oh my God, that is just terrible.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they're all criminals that need to be locked up.
Right.
Yeah. Jesus. That is, and I said, we've talked about this on previous episodes, but like something like 75, 80% of the people in ICE don't have any sort of like
Criminal backgrounds
criminal,
or,
criminal anything.
yeah.
Not like an overwhelming majority are they're just living their lives, trying to live the American dream.
Yep.
I keep checking for the Supreme Court birthright citizenship news.
With the birthright thing, what is it that he wants to take away?
Um,
I mean,
so
obviously I get birthright, but like what would disqualify someone from having birthright?
okay. Oh, also he's this is the first time in history in American United States history that a president was sitting in listening to the Supreme Court justices do whatever it is
Oh,
they do.
trying to intimidate them, I'm sure.
I guess like apparently that's never happened before, but all
I'm
right.
sure him snoring in the background was very intimidating.
He fell asleep. All right. President Donald J. Trump, who watched from the gallery Wednesday, today, in unprecedented fashion while the government made its case, signed an executive order on his first day back in office last year, banning birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants. His plan would also exclude babies born here whose parents are temporary residents. Birthright citizenship was enshrined in the Constitution in 1868 by the 14th Amendment, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. So yeah, of undocumented immigrants and temporary residents.
Okay. So
And
if one parent is a US citizen,
I,
then because
I would,
that's
yeah,
that's what makes me curious, right? Like,
yeah. I think they would probably have to like clarify that, but the article I read doesn't mention
and
that.
is that moving forward or are they gonna try to go back and strip people of their citizenship?
I think it might be moving forward. These are all great questions. I don't know. I think right now the Supreme Court is just is debating on whether or not this is allowed,
Right.
which a lot of people I follow, like Sharon says so, seem to think seem to have a lot of faith in the Supreme Court, thinking that they're not going to allow this to go forward.
But you know what scares me? Why was this even allowed to be brought to the Supreme Court? Like, why wasn't that something that came
I
before them?
think it's an executive order. So it's like they can't just be like, sorry, we're not, we're pretending like this executive order doesn't exist. Like they have to.
I mean, yes, I get it, but what I'm saying is, I guess, why is there a whole hearing on it? They should have all been like, oh, yeah, we all looked into it and we all agreed this is bullshit and here's our reasoning.
I don't know.
Like, the fact that they're entertaining it this much, I
Hmm.
guess, is my
Yeah. Yeah.
concern.
Well, the conservatives, they hold a 6-3 majority, with three of the justices being one of them being Brett Kavanaugh. And
Clarence Thomas, which
yeah.
is still out.
Who appointed Clarence Thomas? I don't
But
know.
I don't know. This is what's crazy to me. Like, there's proof that he's taken bribes.
Bush.
So
H.
how is he allowed to keep his position?
Clarence
Like, I get
Thomas?
it. I get it that it's a lifetime appointment, but
Rules
th
don't apply to
there
them.
still has to be ways that if you do something wrong, that you lose your position.
Yeah, I don't that's a great question and a whole nother conversation. And also a good representation of what is wrong with our country and our
Yeah.
government. Like that is just so backwards. I can't even understand it. Like, how can you be the voice of truth for our country, yet it's proven that you've taken bribes,
Yeah.
that you are on the Supreme Court for our country. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Like you're literally making decisions based on who paid you more.
Mhm.
How is that? Where's the justice there?
Mhm.
I'm confused.
Mhm.
Someone explain it to me because what the fuck?
So I love the website factually.co. It just like presents things in a really like straightforward way. So let's just see what they say. Did Clarence Thomas accept bribes? The allegations laid out by investigative reporting. So investigative reporting has alleged that he's accepted bribes. Okay, so advocacy groups and Democrats in Congress have characterized the pattern as effectively bought and paid for, arguing that the scale and secrecy of the benefits create an appearance of quid pro quo corruption that undermine the court's legitimacy. Some have urged recusal, resignation, and formal investigations. Senators and watchdogs have unearthed additional trips and questioned tax and reporting practices tied to donors, adding fuel to calls for accountability. According to factually.co, like there is like substantial evidence that this is happening and it should be investigated, but it's not going to be investigated.
Right.
So yeah. Okay. So back to Iran. You haven't heard that the Pentagon was accused of orchestrating a cover up of Middle East SWANA casualties. You hadn't heard that?
I might have
Mhm.
gone over it. Like I kind of feel like I have glossed over that, like seen it, but I don't remember details.
Okay. So CENTCOM. I don't know
Or
what's
maybe I'm just remembering what you said 30 minutes ago at the beginning of this podcast.
possible. It's possible. So here's an article from rawstory.com, and it says there have been outdated statements that have been sent out on casualty numbers, meanwhile resulting in undercounts, including a statement sent Monday from spokesperson Captain Tim Hawkins, noting that since the start of Operation Epic Fury, approximately 303 U.S. service members have been wounded, the report continued. The comment was 3 days old and excluded at least 15 that were wounded in a Friday attack on Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. So like they're like, oh, here's a report on the casualties. Here, read it, read it, read
Right.
it. But in and at the same time, a news source is reporting 15 more casualties. It's like
Right.
they're not taking those casualties. So they're sort of like, sleight of hand, just smoke and mirrors.
Delaying
Oh, yeah,
information.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, is this a surprise? No. Is it a disappointment and scary that we're becoming more and more like North Korea and that we're censoring like the facts? And we have no idea what the fuck is going on.
No. No.
People in Iran and Israel, they don't know what's going on either. It's like we're just the innocent civilians caught. And people in the United States obviously are not caught in the crosshairs because we are doing this from the safety of our land. And,
Right.
you know, all that Iran can do, hopefully, is attack the U.S. bases in
Right.
in SWANA, which is what they're doing. They're attacking all the U.S. bases.
And closing I can never say that, Hamas Strait?
Yeah, the Strait
Strait
of
of Hamas?
is there an R in there? Strait of Hormuz. I say Hormuz.
Hormuz. I
Yeah,
think that's it. Yeah. I'm
like
like, I know I'm saying it wrong.
Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, like Hormel, Chile, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hormel, Chile.
But
Um,
like, which is a big deal because that's a huge, huge impact to us financially. We are struggling right now.
mhm,
Like, I am feeling it hard with the gas prices and the price of groceries. And I can tell you because my husband deals with a lot of truck drivers. I also work with a lot of truck drivers. The fuel prices for their trucks has increased so much that
mhm,
that is going to affect all the other products that we get because they have to ship that around and deliver it and everything is going to go up.
mhm. Yeah.
And I'm already struggling. I feel it.
Yeah. And that is the whole reason that we are such tight allies with Israel is because of the oil reserves in SWANA. That is the whole reason for the what we talked about in the last episode, the war on terror, right? That Bush led, Um, that is why we're here now, but under the guise of liberating Iran. But all we did was kill the Ayatollah and replace him with his identical son.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And then Trump keeps saying things like, oh yeah, I'm in negotiations with Iran and yeah, we're talking and Iran's coming out and saying, no, we're not.
yeah, no, it's lies. Yeah, so
That's
here
not happening.
something that I found very interesting was well, very sad and depressing and terrible that we are spending the United States of America so much money per second on these weapons, right? So like if you just imagine like an apple pie, right? And you cut a piece of the apple pie, like just give yourself a big piece. You're hungry for dessert. You're
Yeah.
like, I want a big dessert. So I'm gonna have a big piece of pie, not a normal piece of pie that I would get at the diner, just a big piece of pie, for like a really hungry person. That piece of the pie is goes towards our roads, our infrastructure, our healthcare, our education. Okay. Um, and the rest of the pie goes to war. So like and what I'm describing is a commercial that aired during I think it was the Vietnam War. It was like anti-Vietnam commercial about like
Yeah.
why are we spending so much money on war, right? Um and to me that's just like so frustrating. And then you hear these reports about how like, you know, we are using like a $300 million missile, right? And we're going to launch it at this place that maybe AI has designated as a high value target in Iran. Guess what it turns out to be?
Is that the one that was a children's school?
No,
The
that,
girls?
yes, that is one very disturbing, frustrating example.
Mhm.
But then here's another one, less disturbing, but still frustrating because no one died, right? It's paint. Iran painted a decoy for us to waste our very expensive technology. And they've been doing this very strategically. And we have exhausted our military resources on such a significant scale that we there are reports that I've been reading from people from that actually know what they're talking about that we are not prepared to defend ourselves if something were to
Right.
happen because we have spent and exhausted these like defense,
Yeah.
resources on such
Yeah.
a yeah. So
And we don't have allies anymore. I saw Pete Hegseth, whatever his name is.
mm,
Um, he was out there talking about, oh, this is not just our problem. All these other countries kind of need to step up, kind of like trying to bully them into joining the fight.
yeah.
Like, trying to call them out. Like,
hmm
you guys are going to be affected by this.
hmm
We're not the only ones with the greatest armies and navy. The Royal Navy is, and I was like, we started this.
hmm
Why should they send their
with
help and
Israel.
aid
And
within?
again, and it's not ever just one reason, right? But part of it I think is has a lot to do with Palestine and that Iran was an ally of Palestine because they have something in common here. Like they're sick of, and I am not defending the Ayatollah and or an extreme Islam, behavior.
Right.
I'm not defending that. What I am saying is like imperialist countries such as the United States and Great Britain have been coming into SWANA for hundreds of years now and fucking up their shit
Yep.
you know, and they're sick of it. And so obviously Iran is going to be an ally of Palestine. And that is a problem for the genocidal maniac Netanyahu, who
Right.
wants to just be his own empire
Yeah.
in Swana. He wants to take over. He wants to be the king of Swana and
Yep.
call it whatever. So that's really problematic, I think. But yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so let me read you this. Okay.
Okay.
So this is today, April 1st. there will be a update on the Iran war by President Trump tonight after saying he expects to end US operations in 2 to 3 weeks, which bullshit. I'll believe it when I see it, right?
Right.
Mr. Trump, I love whoever wrote this article. I was calling him Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump is also expected to say that the US military is meeting or exceeding its operational benchmarks, a White House official told CBS News. Iran announced a new wave of strikes on the US and Israeli targets hours ahead of Mr. Trump's remarks. So Iran is announcing all these strikes that they're taking on, US and Israeli targets while Trump is saying, it'll be over in about 2 weeks.
Right.
So that's problematic. Energy and stock markets reacted positively to Mr. Trump's remarks. Well, now we know why he said what he said.
Yes. Uh-huh.
With oil falling back below $100 per barrel, despite Iran's threat to target U.S. tech companies and warnings that leaving the Strait of Hormuz, oh, this one uses a U. Anyway, under Tehran's control, which is the capital of Iran, sorry, could cause lingering pain for the global economy. So he's saying like, oh, don't worry, it'll be over in 3 weeks. Let's get those oil prices back down, even though the Strait of Hormuz is the real issue here. And it's very up in the air, we don't really know what's going on here with this strait, and that's really going to determine
Right.
what everyone's next move is.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. I'm just going to keep reading this because it's very informative. Mr. Trump has told Britain's Telegraph newspaper he could attempt to pull the U.S. out of NATO. It's led for more than 7 decades as he vents frustration at America's closest allies for declining to join the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran. Mr. Trump is expected to criticize NATO in his prime time address, a source told CBS News. So he's basically just going to bitch about NATO not giving him the support that he wants.
Right.
Mr. Trump said earlier today that Iran wants a ceasefire, but he's made it clear he could end U.S. operations without reopening the Strait of Hormuz, leaving other countries to deal with Tehran's chokehold on the critical shipping lane. Al Jazeera reported, which is you've read Al Jazeera
I
sources,
have. Yeah.
um, that Iran's foreign minister denied making a ceasefire request. He's
Yeah.
just lying straight through
Yeah.
his teeth. This is scary.
And I think also Iran has said, like, we don't have beef with these other countries. Their ships can go through. It's
Mm-hmm.
just yours that won't.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So
It's
yeah, I
just
mean,
yours.
so there's a very Reader's Digest brief version of
Yeah.
what's going on in Iran right now. Uh, Inner City Left is an account on social media, Instagram, that does a much better job at explaining like the real truth behind what's going on. If you want to follow, if you're not following, Jen, you should follow because they're really good. And anyone
Okay.
listening out there, it's called Inner City Left, and they have a Patreon, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to join it because I can't afford to right now with these gas prices.
Yeah. Me neither.
Oh man, but so yeah, like we are saying, that was the brief history of what's going on in Iran right now. Um, I wanted to get into more detail about like the history of Iran, but honestly, like in terms of like people listening, because I know we have some listeners out there that are just like, I don't really know what's going on. I like to hear it from, you know, us in like this like very casual kind of way.
Right.
It's not like a no fluff, like straightforward, like this is how two moms who don't have any sort of expertise in political world affairs.
Right.
Like this
Kind
is
of
how
more,
we see.
I guess a dumbed down version. Not saying that it's dumbed down for them. It's just that we're dumb. Not you, but me.
No, no,
Um,
no. I totally feel
on
I always
these
feel
topics. So
yeah.
it's like what we get from what we are watching and seeing. This is our take on it.
Yeah, this is our yeah, and I always feel like I like my imposter syndrome is like
Yeah.
creeping in anytime I try to act like I know what's going on over there. Which I only know we don't really know what's going on because no one's
Yeah.
telling us the truth.
Right.
But I don't know, seeing reports of like us wasting missile on like a painted black sidewalk to me is just wild. Like,
You know what it is too? The fact that most of us are willing to believe Iran when they say what they're saying because we know the president's lying. Like,
Mhm.
president says something and Iran comes and is like, no, they're lying. I'm like, yep, I believe that.
Mhm.
That is wild
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
we cannot believe anything this president says.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
other people, what's even more wild to me is that there's another group of people that literally hang on his every word,
Yep.
even when he contradicts himself.
I would like to think that that group of people is getting smaller.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
100%. Or,
Another,
I don't know if it's getting smaller or people are just tuning out too. Like they
yeah,
realize that they fucked up, but they won't
it's
admit it.
yeah, it's getting smaller, but not on like the level that we wanted to get
Yeah,
smaller. But yeah, I think you're right. There's probably like a large portion of those people that are just like, I'm going to just live my life and try not to let these things affect me, even though they
right,
are going to ultimately affect
right.
everyone, but some more than others.
Yeah.
Mm.
But in the same token, we're seeing a lot of people voting against Republicans.
Hmm.
Even Republicans, like in stronghold Republican areas, you see more Democrats winning. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so maybe like they are waking
Uh-huh.
up.
Yep.
And I'm not necessarily saying Democrats are the correct answer either, because a lot of them piss me off.
Oh
But
yeah.
it is I think they're a little better
Yeah.
than the other option, but they
I
also have a lot of ties to Israel,
hmm
and that is always scary.
Yeah, it's well, here's the thing. We would be in this war, I think, even if Kamala Harris was our president.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. Because the one thing that Republicans and Democrats can agree on is that we need to control SWANA. That is the one thing that
True.
they
Yeah.
will. That is the only true case of bipartisanship that I can see is like, oh yeah, we need to control SWANA, even though it's not really, they don't, the Democrats won't say that. They'll say we are allies with Israel,
Right.
which is
And that's
really,
the problem that I
yeah.
see a lot of allies, Israel's our allies and they get a lot of, what is it, APAC money?
Hmm.
And so that
Hmm.
stresses me out too.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is why we need to get rid of the electoral college
yeah,
so that we don't have to rely on Democrats and Republicans so much, right? And then that would open up the door to having multiple parties in
yeah,
our elections, right? That's never going to happen, or I don't want to say never, but that's not going to happen
yeah,
anytime soon. I do think we're getting closer and closer to it actually becoming a reality, just in the sense that we're hitting rock bottom.
yeah, right, right,
Like we have to hit rock bottom, which is again the argument that Blake made for not caring if a Democrat was elected, over Trump, because in a lot of people's minds, and I'm starting to understand them a little bit more. Like I still would have loved to see Kamala Harris be our
right,
president, for so many reasons,
yeah,
but I can say that and also say she's a shitty Democrat, just like the rest of them, but she's
right.
so much better than what we fucking have right now. But his mindset was like, we got to get to rock bottom so that we can start over. And starting
And I
over
do
means getting
get
rid of the
that.
electoral college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do get that, I guess. I don't get it, but I do get it, sort of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I can see where they're coming from, but it's like, oh, we could have avoided so
yeah,
much
I
message.
didn't want to pay this price.
No.
And I
Yeah.
think that's my issue is that,
Yep.
yes, I guess break the system, um, is going to take sacrifice. Um, but I think the people that are paying that
Yeah.
price
They
didn't
don't want
get,
to do that. Yeah.
they didn't, well, and they didn't have a say because
Yeah.
like I said, I think you're right. We might have been in this war regardless, but we wouldn't have the turmoil we have
It
at
wouldn't.
home
Correct.
we're having. We
Yes.
wouldn't have the attacks on immigrants. We
Mm-mm.
wouldn't have the DEI attacks. We wouldn't have as many attacks on the LGBTQ uh, community.
Child cancer research wouldn't be
Yes,
suspended. Yeah, there would still be detention, but 85% of the detainees would not be, you know, people without criminal histories.
right, right.
So And it's easy for a white man like my husband to say, "Hey, we need to get hit rock bottom and fix the system." It's easy for
I
him to
didn't
say
want to
that.
say it, but since
Oh,
you
you
said it,
totally
yes, that's
should say
exactly
that.
what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, no, of course it's easy. And he would say that too. He would agree. Um, but I think people like him, they just get so pissed off at
Yeah,
at the bullshit parade or I guess mask that people like Kamala Harris put on.
yeah.
I don't know.
And like I said, I do get it, right? I get it. I just wish we could break the system without breaking the system.
Me
Like
too.
just electing people who aren't shitty, you
Hmm.
know, sellouts.
Like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh
And
wait.
he had he has come, I think, because he was very pro-Israel for a while, right?
Yeah, he was, and he's definitely like he's corrected and he's
Yeah.
gone in the right direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that if he was president, we would be in the same war situation. But
Yeah.
just throwing it out there, he did not become the Democratic nominee for a reason. They wanted Hillary. The
Right.
DNC wanted Hillary, even
Yeah.
though we wanted the majority of people wanted Bernie.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
um, I think we could probably wrap up. Man, time flies when you're having fun. I
Yeah.
was supposed to be at my pottery class like 20 minutes ago, but that's okay. Um,
Oh
I
no.
can. No, it's not like a casual. It's a very casual class. Like it doesn't start at 6. You show up whenever you want, and you just like you,
Oh, okay.
you make stuff. She's just helping me mess up less because I keep messing.
Well, no, you definitely have to make it to that.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, this is a good time to wrap up.
But I want to talk about. We're gonna are we still gonna talk about Percy Jackson?
Well, okay, so yes, let's talk about what Trump said. He made a comment about um oh my God, what's his name? Gavin Newsom.
Oh yeah.
Um and that he would not feel comfortable with him as a president because he is dyslexic and that somehow diminished his ability, his intelligence, and his ability to be a president, which is crazy because when you have Gavin Newsom speaking next to a side by side of Trump speaking, he
Mm.
is running circles around him. Obviously, intelligence is not an issue. And just having a learning disability does not mean that you can't succeed in life.
I
Um,
have the quote.
yes,
That so Trump said, with a low IQ person, because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he is a thing that he has a learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but not for my president. I don't want I think this is a quote, like word for word. This isn't me messing up in the quote, okay? I think the president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. He can't even like say it. Like
no.
that says it right there. So
So yeah, so based off that, which that happened like I think maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago,
old
it feels
news.
like yeah, it's
Yeah.
old news. But because of that, we wanted to cover Percy
Percy Jackson.
Jackson
Yeah.
because he is dyslexic in the book, also has ADHD. Um, and so I think it's important to cover a book that highlights that and just discuss more also what Gavin Newsom and his wife had to say on the matter and just highlight how that is not something that should disqualify you from having the presidency or any other type of career or job. So, yeah,
And to before we end this episode, I'm gonna just list a few people that either were diagnosed with dyslexia or suspected of having dyslexia or a similar learning disorder. Number one on the list, Albert Einstein. He was not uh like formally diagnosed with dyslexia, but he struggled in grammar and in his reading through school, and he clearly had a different way of thinking, right?
right.
Other people include Henry Ford, Steven Spielberg, Whoopi Goldberg, Leonardo da Vinci, Cher, Orlando Bloom, Tom Cruise, Keira Knightley, a bunch of people I don't know, Pablo Picasso, and Robin Williams.
Look at that.
Yeah, all awesome people who could probably be a better president than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so
So
stay
yeah.
tuned for that episode about Percy Jackson. And it actually is banned, but not for the character having dyslexia, but for other reasons that we will get into next week. So,
Yep.
with that, don't ban books.
Ban bigots. This episode has been engineered and mixed by your hosts, Jennifer and Courtney.
You can listen to the MILF for Books podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or literally any podcast app you want.
Check out our MILF for Books YouTube page. That's MILF, the number 4, books. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Follow the show on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Blue Sky at MILF for Books. Again, that's MILF, the number 4, books. But follow us on TikTok at Moms Into Literary Freedom.